everyone. Today we are making homemade chapatis. So I had already prepared my dough, if you can all see from above here. So first I will be using this pan here. First, what we need, I will be adding cooking oil here that we'll be using in making our chapatis. Then aftermath, let me take a spoon. So with our dough, I did use about 2 kilograms of wheat flour. Here I did add 2 tablespoons of sugar with 1 tablespoon of salt. Sugar is an option. If you prefer adding sugar, then it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. Then with cooking oil, I did heat our cooking oil and I did add here aftermath. Then I did also add, while kneading your flour, you need to use warm water. You need to make sure your dough, it looks this way, it is not sticky. It doesn't need to be sticky for you to have the very best chapatis. Make sure your dough is non-sticky. So we'll be using this wooden chair here to make our chapatis, and also need additional flour. So yes, I think my camera is looking well. So first things, I need to add here flour. I think I need to use I'll add this here so that it doesn't move here while kneading. So you need to add flour here and here. So we'll start by only taking small amount of our dough here to make our chapati. So the first thing you need first is to roll them into this nice round balls. Then aftermath, you are going to shape them into an oval shape. So the first process in making your chapati, you need to cut into small portions, a sphere or around a little small ball. Then we'll be adding oil here in a little sphere-shaped dough. The essence of adding oil is to making your chapati to be even more soft. You see? You want, when you cut it needs to be this, you see, it's stretchy. So here I'm going to add a small amount of cooking oil. Then I'm going to fold it this way, this shape. Then I'm going to round it this way. just like this. See? Then I'll be pressing it aside. Then I'll take another dough again. Just small portion. You need to place it to make it into a small ball like this. Add here some flour. The essence of adding here flour is to avoid your board to be non-sticky. You don't want your dough to get sticky to the board or to this rolling pin. I think the flour is a little bit out here. Let me add small amount of flour. You see, if it's don't have enough flour, it becomes sticky. So you keep rolling. So as you can see, you see how stretchy it has become. You see, you need your dough to be this stretchy. So here you'll be adding small amount of oil just to make your chapatis more soft. You're folding them this way. Then I'm going to set it here aside. Again, into small ball. Like this. Then add some flour here in your rolling board. And another flour here in your rolling pin. Then we proceed. It's okay. You see, as I said, it needs to be stretchy. You see, stretching this way. You see. Then here we'll be adding cooking oil. And fold it. Slowly fold, fold, fold. And press it into a spiral shape. Then add it here up front like this. Because we have already made 3 of them, we can start cooking. As our pan is heating, let me roll another ball, another small ball. If you have any question, just feel free to ask. I'll be reading them. Welcome. Hi everyone, welcome. So this is another ball that we're making. Everyone who is joining in today, we are making chapatis. In Indian, they are also known as chapatis, but also in Swahili, in East Africa, they are known as chapati. So I am from Tanzania. It's also like a staple food here in Tanzania. Chapatis, they serve them with beef sauce, beans curry, with mud beans. So you can serve them. You can drink with tea early in the morning. Yeah. So as I told you, it needs to be this round and stretchy like this. You see how stretchy it is. So here you're adding cooking oil and you're going to roll it. Then you're going to roll. Again I said, you need to roll it into a spiral shape and place this on the top, just like this. Now we are going to take our first spiral shaped ball, ready for cooking. I think the pan was on for a long time, just like this. And I'm going to see how soft it has become. I wish I could just show you how soft it has become. And this is because we did add cooking oil. So you can just try for starter, for anyone who is starting, it might be a little bit difficult shaping it into a cycle, but slowly you'll get there. So you can see it's this stretchy. Now I'm going to place it in our pan without adding any oil. I need to place it well. So this pan, I did use it prior in heating our oil for adding in our dough. That's why it has like a little small leftover oil. So I'll proceed to making another small ball. Try as much as possible for your small balls to be of equal size, have the same size of the chapatis. So I'm going to place my ball here and start kneading it. Let's look at our chapati here. Hope you guys can see. Look. Yes, you can see. So we're going to add a small amount of oil here. You see how stretchy our dough is? This is how you want your dough to look like before while making your chapatis. Make sure you have a stretchy dough. And this consistency is obtained at the very time you start kneading. Yes. So I'm going to turn our chapati around. And then you see how it's looking? Then I will apply a small amount of oil. So you want your chapatis to have this look and to look this I should say fluffy and soft. Actually, this is the best thing of making chapatis. After a while cooking a chapati and they all look this amazing. So let me just put my bowl aside and proceed with this spiral shaped dough. So I think my chapati soon will be ready. So after you have made this spiral shape, you don't want to remove all of this spiral shape. You're just going to press it a little bit and start kneading slowly. Let's look at the chapati here. Add small amount of oil, one small amount of oil. You see how we are going so far? Make sure your chapati, if you can try, into an oval shape. But you know, these shapes are just like some standards. But if you can't make it into an oval shape, just where we reach so far, it's okay. So I'm gonna put our chapati in a hot pot for it to still be hot. You see how it's looking so far? This is how you want your chapati to look, soft and fluffy. So I'm going to add our next chapati. You see how stretchy it looks? Let's press the chapati without any oil and let it cook for some time in a medium heat. So let's proceed with our ball. I'm going to add small amount of flour. Press our bowl here, add flour in a rolling pin. So today for our chapatis, we will be serving them with beans curry. I did make coconut beans curry. It is a good sauce to pair with your chapati. You can use beef sauce, you can use mung beans, you can serve with milk tea, you can serve them during dinner, during lunch, during breakfast, just how you want them to be served. So here I'm going to add cooking oil. So now we turn our chapati. So far this is how it's looking. I'm going to add a small amount of oil and let it cook more. Let us add here oil and fold it into a spiral shape. For everyone joining in, today we are making chapati. And I did use about 1.5 kilogram of wheat flour. So this is the spiral shape. So as our chapati is about to cook here, let me add another spiral shaped bowl here so we can just knead slowly. let's look at our chapati here. Let's add small amount of oil. You see how fluffy? You see how it's raising up? That's how you want when cooking your chapati. You see this oval shape? That's what you want to obtain. But I'm going to enlarge it a little bit. You see how stretching it looks. You want when making a chapati, for a chapati to be this stretchy. That's when you know you obtain a fluffy chapati. So looking at the cooking chapati here, ready, and we'll be adding it into our hot pot. Then, as I said, we are adding without any oil, just as simple as this. Welcome everyone. Welcome. So you need to roll your chapatis. Because here I'm just adding oil, it doesn't necessarily need to be an oval shape, just a normal cycle. I say make sure your chapati is this stretchy. So you add small cooking oil. So let's look at the chapati here. You see, add small amount of oil. And place it again. So keep rolling into spiral shape and place it here up, just like this, and place it aside. Since our chapati is about ready now, I'll use another spiral ball to knead. Just after you have added cooking oil, you realize that your chapati has become super soft and fluffy. So just sometimes you can see some bubbles here, large bubbles, large space. You see how it's rising? That's when you realize it's fluffy. Then you're going to turn, add a small amount of oil. You need your chapati to start rising this way. And let it cook for some time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Hi everyone, thank you for joining in. So now we'll be adding our chapati into the hot pot. And be placing another one here. Just like this. Just roll into an spiral shape. Add small amount of oil. Let's look at our chapati here. And add small amount of oil. And here we are going to make it into spiral shape. Just like this. Fold it. Then bring it this higher up here. You know, just it has to look this way. Small amount of flour. And add oil. You see how fluffy it looks? That's my child.
Chocolate.
She really likes chocolates. So let's look how the chapati is going. Yeah. I didn't know. So our chapati is ready. Wow. It looks good. So we're adding it here. So why I'm placing them in a hot pot is after you have cooked your chapati, one thing you need to consider. You need to either cover them using a towel or in a hot pot or in a closed container. The essence is to avoid for them to become dry. When they're exposed to air, they'll dry out very quickly. So place them in either in a container, in a closed container, just like this, the one that I'm using, or in a towel and fold them. Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are making chapatis from East Africa. So for anyone who's joining in, I always do live stream showing different tips like this, how to make a really soft and fluffy chapati. So kindly subscribe, share, and stay tuned for everyday live stream. So now we are making our ball. So I said that after making your dough, there are 3 important steps for you to do well to have the best fluffy chapati. Is first make a round ball and knead it into an oval shape. Roll it out into an oval shape just like this. Then add cooking oil. The essence of adding cooking oil is to get the fluffiness. As you can see here, you just, I don't think if you can see, but if you can see, there's some small air bubbles within your dough. So add small amount of cooking oil. So looking at another chapati that's cooking, you see how it looks. You're going to add small amount of oil and brush it off. You can use a brush. So here you'll be folding into a spiral shape, just like this, and place it here up. And you see, this way, that's how you want them to appear before rolling and pressing them into a heated pan. So we make again another ball, just small amount of a ball. So even while rolling your ball, don't use a lot of flour, because when you just start using a lot of flour, your dough will start to become stiff. And you don't want to use a stiff dough while making chapati. The chapati will going to be hard. So you see how stretchy it looks. I'm going to add cooking oil. So let's look at our chapati here and add oil. So I'm going to roll out another spiral dough. Chapati is looking so far. It needs to be fluffy, stretchy, and you also need to see some bubbles while rolling out your chapati. So let's add another chapati here. So these are how our chapatis are looking. Welcome everyone, thank you for tuning in. Let's make another bowl. Hello, welcome everyone. So today we are making our chapati and we are rolling now into, we have kneaded it into a small bowl. So you'll be adding flour here so you can roll it out. So you'll be adding cooking oil. I said the essence of adding cooking oil in your dough is to make your chapati to be soft and fluffy. You don't want to have a stiff chapati. And here I'm going to roll it, to fold it into spiral shape, just like this. See, this way. So let's look at our chapati. You see how it's rising? This is how you want when cooking your chapati for it to appear. Then we are going to add a small amount of cooking oil. So let's make another small bowl. Just make a ball like this one here and knead it. I just want to tell you that make sure when you have already kneaded your dough, it needs to feel soft. You see the softness of this dough here. You see how it's looking? This is how you need your dough to look like, or to feel like. The texture needs to be this soft. So I'm going to add cooking oil. So I'm going to add cooking oil. Add a small amount of oil here. You see when I stretch how straight it becomes? So this is how into spiral shape we need. Then if you make it into this spiral shape, it is easy when you're rolling out for the bubbles to be formed. So let's add our chapati to our oven. Let's roll out this. You see there are some bubbles here. You can see bubbles. Yeah. So let's make another bowl here. So we are nearly finishing our dough here. So as I said, it needs to be this stretchy. Then add cooking oil. Into this spiral shape. let's turn our chapati here and add a small amount of oil. So we are left with only small amount of dough here for our chapati. So let's add our chapati in the hot pot. You see how they're looking currently? So let's add our chapati. It was a little sticky. It's okay. Just like this. Don't add any cooking oil first while adding your chapati. Welcome everyone. So let's roll. So let's roll it into a spiral shape and place it here. Let's turn our chapati here and add small amount of oil. Let's set this to some. Endelea na live yangu namalizia tu live. place it here. Roll it into a spiral shape. So let's add our chapati into a pan, into our hot pot. As I said, make sure you place your chapati. You see how the rest of the chapatis are waiting? Put it in a hot pot. This is to avoid the chapati from going hard or becoming stiff. You see how our dough, how stretchy it looks? This is how you want your chapati to look like while you are kneading it. So let's add it into a pan. Do not add any cooking oil first. Let it rise a little bit. When you turn, that's when you're going to add cooking oil. So let's make another bowl. For all who are joining in, I said after you have kneaded your dough, the very first 3 steps to follow while making the soft and the fluffiest chapati. First, mold it into a round ball, just like this. Mold it into this simple round ball. Then pour a little bit of flour into a rolling board. Then place it here. Knead it into an oval shape. It is not necessary for you not to obtain a really nice oval shaped, because you'll be adding flour and you'll be rolling it in a spiral way. Also, avoid adding too much flour here. If you add too much flour here, you're making your dough to become stiff. You don't want to have a stiff dough while making your chapati. So you'll be turning. You see, I tell you, make sure it has risen. This is how you'll know that you kneaded your dough well. Then turn it. Add a small amount of cooking oil. You only add cooking oil after you have turned your chapati and place it into the pan again. So here we will be adding oil. As I said, oil helps to make your chapati become even more fluffy. You know. Then you're going to roll it into a spiral shape like this. Just straight it as you're rolling. And close it this way, just a simple way. And place it here on top, like this. That's how you want your chapati to look like. You see, it's rising. I told you, make sure while making for you to know it's a soft and fluffy chapati, it needs to rise while cooking. Thus, you know that there's some air inside and it will burst out as you're making your chapatis. So, because this one here is cooking, let me place this one here and start rolling it. You see how I just wish for you guys you could feel the texture after you have applied oil. It is really soft. You see, and the bubbles are starting to form. You see? The bubbles are here, they are forming as you roll. Make sure you have this kind of texture while making your chapatis. So you see, that's reason I'm going to turn it around and add again small amount of cooking oil. You can use a brush, that's how you want. So this is how our chapati is looking. So let's add let's add this. Do not add cooking oil first while adding it in your pan. Just add it straight as it looks here. And let's make final balls. I think here we're left with about only 3 balls. So I want to advise you that make sure you have not that much big balls, just medium size like the ones I'm making. If you have a medium sized pan like mine, but if you have a larger pan, then you can just increase the size of the ball a little bit. Here I'm left with only 2 balls. And by the way, I did use the amount of flour that I did use was 1.5 kilograms. So roll it. For everyone joining on my live stream, welcome. Today we are making homemade chapati, the softy. So the key tips of making our chapati today is for them to be soft and fluffy. So welcome and kindly subscribe. Stay tuned for another live streams and beautiful tips, because I try to teach people one-on-one so they can really understanding. Yes, I prefer making edited videos, but sometimes when you are going live stream with people, they get to ask you questions, which is kind of engaging and beautiful. So now you're going to stretch your dough and fold it this way. Then roll, and put it at the top, just like this. So now here we are going to turn our chapati. You see the color? Don't want it to get burned. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm all around here. So let me add a flour. And roll another spiral shape. Just press it like this. Avoid destroying the spiral shape. The spiral shape helps to add more air into your dough, which is good for the fluffiness and soft. You see like this air here? This is what you want in your chapati, this air. That's when you know that you have a soft and fluffy chapati. Chapati here and add more cooking oil. Don't add a lot of cooking oil, only small amount is enough. You can use a brush or a spoon, just like me. Let me add more cooking oil in my bowl. So let's put the chapati into the hot pot. So let's place our chapati in a pan. I said do not add any cooking oil, just a bit chapati like this and let it rise a little bit. Let's make our last 2 balls here, or 2 doubles. we are going to fold our chapati into this spiral shape, cross it and bring it outward, just like this. So you see how it's rising. Now we are going to turn and add our cooking oil. Just small amount and let it rise even more. You see how it's rising? This is how you know you have a fluffy chapati. So let's keep, this is our last chapati ball. After I've made this, I'll show you guys how our chapati they are currently looking. Make sure to knead. I want to show you the texture, how it's looking for your dough before adding oil. It's already fluffy and it looks so soft. So now all that is left will be adding cooking oil here a little bit. Stretch it like this. For you to know your dough is really good, when stretching it should not break. Fold it this way, fold it, and bring this here up, just like this. So let's turn our chapati and add here a little bit of oil. I said just press it a little bit so as the spiral shape could still be there. See how it's looking? You see the texture of it and the softness. So let's add our chapati is ready. So let's place it on. Ooh. So you see how they're kind of looking? Place it into an empty pan. We are just now rolling and making our chapatis. So that's what is left of us here. Roll slowly. So it takes time making chapati or mastering how to cook a soft and fluffy chapati. But as I say, if you practice more, that's how you're going to have a better experience. Maybe the first time you can make a chapati and it can turn to be stiff or hard. Just give yourself some time and try again. And for a better advice, don't start making a lot of chapati if you're currently starting. Just make about maybe 6 to 5 chapatis. You see how it's rising? So you're going to turn, add your oil, just small amounts of oil. So avoid making a lot of chapati if you're currently starting off. I think the best way is to make maybe 5 to 6 chapatis first. Thank you for everyone who is joining in. So let us look at the chapati. You see how fluffy they are? This is how you want your chapati to look like. So yes, for us today we will be serving them with beans curry. They will be paired with our chapatis here. So let me place this here. So this one is ready. Let me proceed making other spirals here. So this is we are left with about 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. That's when I'm going to be ready. Just press it a little bit here and roll. Let us look here at our chapati. Then let's add a small amount of oil. If you're not used to using a spoon, you can just use a brush. But if you don't have a brush, you can just use a spoon. That's nothing fancy. Just roll out. Sometimes even when you're starting, it's a little bit hard shaping it into a cycle or spiral. But it took me more than a year to get used to it. But I'm not the type of a shape person so much. As long as it looks oval, that's okay with me. Just like this one here. So it's okay. So let's place our chapati in the hot pot. You see, this is how our chapatis are looking. They are really, really beautiful. So let's place in this one here. Make sure your pan doesn't have oil. You're going to place it into an empty pan like this. I forgot to add this one, but it's okay. Let's work with another spiral ball, this one here. You see, this is how oval it looks. Sometimes you get the best oval, sometimes you will not. So it's okay, unless you're making a large catering order, you need to maintain the ovalness. Let's turn our chapati. You see it's rising. This is how you want your chapati to turn when making. Add small amount of oil. So we are left with only 3 spiral balls. That's when you're going to be done for the day. But then before even ending this, I want to show you a very clear and beautiful look of our chapatis before we finish. So stay tuned. Add again oil here. You see it's rising. If you can have a closer look, you can see our chapatis rising. So after I have placed this and this are placed here, I'll bring our chapatis here. I'll clean this space here so for you guys to have a better close look of our chapati. let's turn our chapati. It's ready. Let's place it in our hot pot. The rest of the chapatis, how they're looking. They're actually really nice. You see, these are chapatis. Then we'll place another chapati here. Place it into a pan without oil first. Let's place it here before it becomes sticky. So what I'll be doing now, let me dust this. I want to show you guys how our chapati are looking so far. So I'll be taking them out of here from the hot pot so you can have a close up. Oh, they're currently hot. You see, this is the look of our chapati. They are all soft and fluffy. You see, this is how our chapati they are looking so far. And this is the shape you want your chapati to look like, but the fluffiness. So let me, this is a bit hot, you see, this is the fluffiness of your chapati you want. You want your chapati to look this fluffy. So yes, thank you everybody who took their time joining in my live stream. Thank you for everybody who took their time joining in my live stream. Stay tuned for more tips, and thank you very much for your non-stop support. So I am currently finishing my chapati, but I'll have to end my live stream. So thank you guys. I love you. Stay tuned. Thank you. See you all. Thank you. Kindly subscribe to my channel and show your support. Thank you so much.